Well, not talking about bite rate, but talking about like overly familiar things that are kind of like mysterious and stuff. That mysterious billboard turned up in Chelsea City again. It just says Minge. Like,
What?
yeah, it just has. It's got
What?
white background, big orange letters. It just says one word, Minge.
Maybe it's a warning. It's an invasion coming or something. I don't know.
An invasion of Minge? Sign me up for that
Yeah.
invasion. Fuck.
It's just a public service announcement. Minch is coming. Be aware.
Hello, and welcome down to the abyssal lair of the radiophonic sea creatures. Take it on bongo through the planet core and bash out the tasty river mun, because I, Tokyo Choo Choo, am gonna be your host today, and that was not racist. I'm married to a foreign gal, wasn't racist. And with me, as always, are two weak-minded fools who definitely did not see or feel Obi-Wan lift their wallets last Friday night in the club on Ladies' Night. It's Human Metal and Brack. So, I would say...
Fuck, that's where it went.
Like you think I have enough money to buy a wallet.
There you go, people. If you hear it jingling around the corner, it's Brack.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he has metal balls. Oh, I should say balls of steel. I'm sorry.
Talking about racism, I'm just totally reminded of that hilarious joke in Crank 2 where he says, "Did someone just drop a coin or did I hear a chink?" Come on, Jason Statham, why would you say that? It's hilarious though. Anyway, so we are actually going to skip The Shallows, so I think that might be a blessing for some of you, goddammit. And we are going to talk about Star Wars.
It's a blessing for me, so I don't have to hear about your life.
And vice versa. So, so we've all been saved from the doom that is The Shadows. So we're going to be talking about Star Wars today. We're going to go through a retrospective of the movies, and don't worry, we're not going to have another debacle like Metal Gear on our hands, because actually, most of us can actually probably remember Star Wars, unlike Metal Gear.
You say that, but it's been quite a while since I've seen any of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, see, I was banking on you. I was banking on you to give us some nerd cred here. Like, I think
Never bank on anything, especially not me.
that makes me sad in some kind of profound way.
This is the depressing episode. Brack has no money to buy a wallet. You can't bank on me. The end. Also, nobody cares about Choo-Choo's private life. That was the end.
And there's a big mysterious billboard that says Minge. The world is going to shit. So, but yeah, that actually brings us on to the first point. Where is your fanboyism? Like, where does it stand on Star Wars, just in general? Like, how big a fanboy are you of Star Wars? I mean, because there are people who like hardcore fucking love Star Wars, you know, and know everything about it, know all the extended universe and stuff. Like, how about you guys? How about you, Brack? I think I know the answer to this, but where do you fit in amongst that lot?
I think I'm kind of a bit too young for Star Wars. At least when I watched Star Wars, like the prequels were already out, so it was already like going downhill a lot. So I wasn't never really a big fan of Star Wars.
How about you?
But I'm still gonna watch Episode 7 though. So yeah.
Yeah, along with everybody else on planet Earth. Yeah. How about you, Human Metal? Where do you kind of rank in on that?
Nah. I like to, see what's coming out, Star Wars related, what's new, and watch it, but I'm not a super fan. I like the old ones, probably like most people who grew up with them, and I don't like the prequels, but I like some of the cartoon stuff, and read a comic here and there, but not a super fan, no.
Yeah, I'm not a super fan either. I mean, I know my Ord Mendel from my Bespians and stuff like that, like anybody who grew up with the original films. But I watched them. I wouldn't say like I don't watch them every year or anything like that. But yeah, I've certainly watched Star Wars a whole bunch, and I grew up with them. I had all the toys and shit like that when I was growing up, and loved the original trilogy and played most of the video games. So, but I've not like I don't have any like specific Star Wars collector's items, or I haven't read any of the expanded universe or comics or stuff like that. So, I guess I think you and I, Human Metal, might be middleweights on the scheme of things. Yeah.
Yeah, middle to light, probably.
Middle to light, yeah, probably. But anyway, so there you go. Just in case we're making some massive mistake, where we're saying, there isn't pod racing on Mon Calamari when in fact there is. See? Malastair. So anyway, let's get started. So we're actually going to start off with probably the worst film in the franchise, which would be, of course, Episode 1. Yeah, wow.
There's already a discussion.
Yeah, it's already a discussion.
I would argue that the second one is worse. Yeah, let's start with Episode 1.
Okay, so yeah. I guess we'll start with the guy who actually just hates Star Wars in general. Bragg, what did you think of Episode 1?
I'm not sure actually if Star Wars Episode 1 is the worst or Episode 2 is the worst.
It's definitely a toss-up.
It's definitely really bad. Like, it has like the worst things about movies in general. It has like extremely racist stereotypes, annoying side characters, kids that are just really annoying and can't act. Like, it has all the worst things about it. And yeah, there is at least maybe one good fight with Darth Maul, right? That's alright, I think.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's like...
It's better than not bad.
Yeah, it's like a golden nugget in a pile of shit,
Yes, yeah, I would pretty much agree with you, absolutely. In fact, that's one thing like that. It seems we're touching on Darth Maul already. Like, the Darth Maul fight was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was athletic and really great to watch, and just had fantastic music. And I think there are a few scenes in Star Wars that really excite the blood when you see them. Like, and that moment where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn come to those doors and they open, you got that da 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 da, and Darth Maul's there with his lightsaber. That's fucking cool, man. That's awesome. That's like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, I remember seeing that in the cinema, and where I was convinced that was a good film when I saw it in the cinema. It was only later I was like, no, this is really bad, actually.
Same for me. When I watched it in the cinema, I was like, actually, man, this was actually cool. And then later, when I visited it and watched it with more open eyes, well, no, it isn't. No. Also, wouldn't that fight have been even more amazing if we actually cared about the characters, like genuinely cared about them?
Yeah.
I mean, if they were actual characters at that point, which they were not.
Well, I guess
neither Qui-Gon Jinn nor Obi-Wan at this point are characters. They're something. They're Jedi cardboard cutouts or something. I don't know. They're an idea, but not really characters at this point.
This be fair. I mean, Jedis aren't really the most charismatic people anyway. I mean, they kind of have to bury their charisma, don't they, to be Jedis? That's what makes them Jedis, I think.
Yeah, but control doesn't mean that you can have an arc or something, and I don't feel any of those two didn't have an arc in this movie. It's like, yeah, they're there for some reason because this and that and trade disputes and shit like that, but other than that, they just stumble into things and say things that don't really, mean anything or move anything. It just happens to them. It just feels very, very anti-progressive. I don't know. It's
Yeah, but I think it's a perfect kid movie because, of course, kids love to see things about like trade law like a lot.
Boring political conversations.
Yeah.
Lots of people hate on those conversations, but I actually quite like the political discussions in Star Wars. Like, I don't mind that as much as some people do. But I just want to quickly touch back on Darth Maul, just quickly, because I thought Darth Maul was really cool. I mean, he had the look, he had the voice. He certainly was a much better actor than Hayden Christensen, and goddammit, we'll get into that. Like, and he's not even an actor by trade. He's like a stuntman. But like
art man.
So they had a really great bad guy in Episode 1. Like, he was really impressive and he looked cool as fuck. And then unbelievably, George Lucas killed him. Like, what? Oh my god! Like, if they actually let him survive and continue on, like, it would definitely made the later films like better. But not only that, but like the way he dies is retarded. You have this magnificent fighter, who can like flip and do all this shit, and he's there just basically like, teasing Obi-Wan, and does nothing to defend himself when Obi-Wan slowly flips over him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, what? You can't
Oh shit!
And it's
Double
even
jump.
coming.
it's even worse because in episode 3, Obi-Wan says to Anakin, I have the high ground. It's over. Before he cuts off Anakin's legs, and Darth Maul had the high ground and did jack shit, and he was a much better fighter.
But he just had, he actually jumps up, right? Straight at him. He could have just put his lightsaber on and just hanged it there, and he just like, Obi-Wan would have split it too.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, when he lands, if you look at, like, the film, when he lands, he then, like, holds out his hand for Qui-Gon's lightsaber. Darth Maul could just swung his lightsaber and had him, like, did nothing. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. Oh, God, my stomach.
Can you activate lightsabers when you're not touching them?
I don't know.
Because that would have been a cool ending. Like, he has both lightsabers and at the end, like...
That sounded
Obi-Wan.
weirdly sexual, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
Yeah,
I didn't want to bring it up. I knew you would.
While you're not touching them?
Yeah. No, I mean, he could have,
Well, you're not holding your hands around it, you mean? Can you shoot lasers out?
No,
You're not holding your hands around it? Is that
yeah, let's not dwell on that. Also, Darth Maul could have just swung one of his lightsabers from Obi-Wan's hands, and then he uses the Force to, I don't know, thrust it into his chest or something to kill him. Yeah. Like something he doesn't see coming. But that was just so dumb. Like he totally sees him jump over. Why is he not blocking it? Yeah. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
that's why it is so stupid. It's like, no, he's not gonna try to do that. Of course not. That's too stupid.
Yeah, if he could turn on the lightsaber with the Force, I mean, imagine he like turned on the lightsaber and then just sent it at Darth Maul like a dagger.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But anyway, I guess that's the Darth Maul stuff going. But also,
this is pod racing.
Oh. Yeah, this is pod race. Yeah, talking about the pod race. Good segue there, Brack. The pod race. I don't know, like, if any of you have seen episode 1. George Lucas won't leave that fucking pod race alone. Like, I've seen about 10 different versions of that pod race. It keeps getting longer. Like, soon that's going to be a 2-hour event in the middle of the movie. It's going to be like a movie within a movie.
They make an extra movie just out of pod racing. Yeah. It's like just one of those racing movies only with pod racing, It's like Rush, only it's like pod racing instead of like Formula 1.
It was actually... Choo-choo, you go first.
Seriously, like you watch it in the movie, it's a nice sequence, but then seriously, you watch it now, it's literally added about 5 or 6 minutes of footage into that pod race since it was first released. Like, I was sitting there watching it, and I remember I was like, I don't remember some of these scenes and these characters, and then like I watched it again a couple years later, and it was like, holy shit, there's more.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that he changes so much, but he never thought to like take out the racist Jewish stereotype. Like that's gonna stay in. Like at least somebody in those I don't know, all the movies 10 years at least. Somebody in those 10 years could have told him, right? That's pretty racist. Maybe you should change that. But no, let's add some extra special effects in the pod racing instead.
Yeah, indeed. I was like, yeah, if you're gonna CG anything in, please CG Darth Maul blocking Obi-Wan's initial swipe or something. I don't know, or fucking just CG out Jar Jar Binks completely. And Anakin as a kid, they could just be walking along, talking to nothing, and it'd be a much more entertaining film. If Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn were just talking to a blank space. How about you, Human Metal? What did you think about episode 1?
I like it better than episode 2, but we get to that. And we've already said, when I watched it in the movie theater, I was kind of like, yeah, this was pretty cool, and just, I don't know. I guess I went with the rest of the world and later said, no, it wasn't. I don't know when it's on TV. Maybe I'll watch it or something, but it's just for the final fight. But, yeah, not a fan. Oh. I think it's just the way... If you had opened your eyes back then, you could see where that series was going, and you would have said no, this is not it. This is not how it's supposed to be. But people were so starving for new Star Wars in that time that you were willing to put on the rose tinted glasses and let nostalgia do its trick. Yeah, this is good, and it really wasn't. Let's see what happens this time around.
A whole shit about the midichlorians. I mean, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was that about? So stupid. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like basically it's like this 3-hour movie now because George Lucas keeps adding scenes. Soon it's going to be a 4-hour movie.
That's the biggest problem with this whole series. The midichlorian stuff, the whole Darth Vader stuff. It takes so much of the mysticism out of the old series. Like the whole aspect of a higher force or something gets taken out. The whole aspect of Darth Vader being this mysterious, flawed figure that had a bright past as a young pilot, and then gets somehow turned around. And then in this new movies you find out, this was a pretty dumb thing that happened to him, and he was being a stupid asshole, and you don't feel for the character anymore. The thing when people often bring up in when reboots happen to movies, like is no, don't ruin the old movie. The old movie was perfect. And I always say, well, if it's a reboot, the old thing still exists. It can't ruin the old movie. But those were prequels. Those are connected to the other movies. So with all the shit they put in the prequels, they retroactively ruined their other movies or aspects that were good in those movies that don't mean as much anymore. And you can't say, hey, those are still good, but there's still stuff they ruined because you can't just ignore them. They exist now.
It's like in the Star Wars Episode 4, for example, where Obi-Wan says, I don't ever seem to remember owning a droid, yet R2 saved Obi-Wan's life many times.
Yeah. That was dumb. So I guess he just got dementia or something, or Alzheimer's.
He is pretty old.
He is pretty.
That's
maybe
horrible.
he does. Maybe that's why he fights so bad in Episode 4.
Or he's just a lying asshole.
Yeah. Maybe he's just deceiving Luke on purpose. Fuck you.
Yeah. I hated your father. He betrayed me. So I hate you too, you jackass.
Maybe, but also just what you say is when you got that really cool scene in Episode 4 where Darth Vader's choking that guy to death, asking about the rebel plans in the main computer or whatever, you then have to think that at one point Darth Vader jumped off a counter and shouted "Yippee!" It's like, come on. I don't want to know he did that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll close out the Episode 1 conversation by just giving you something that always stayed with me from Episode 1. It's a quote from Jar Jar Binks, of all characters. Just this quote always stayed with me, where Jar Jar Binks is explaining why he got exiled from the Gungan city. Boomdagasser smashed the boss's head giver, then banished. Smashed the boss's head giver. His boss has a head giver. I mean, it's just.
So I guess he took the head giver away, or what? Smashed her. Does that mean he fucked the girl who blew the boss or something?
I don't know.
He smashed the head giver. Yeah, it sounds to me like he took away the girl of his boss. Well, like he fucked her.
Either he's fucked her, or either he smashed her skull in, and actually he's a really dangerous murderer, or the boss has a sure grip Swedish suck machine.
Maybe.
He broke it. We'll never know. Only George Lucas knows.
He knows.
I'm not even sure if George Lucas knows, though.
No, I'm sure he does. That's what he jerks off to.
Oh my God! Don't even.
I'm sorry.
Don't even say that. Yeah, he's got a sure grip Swedish suck machine. It's just his palm coated with dollar bills. So anyway,
like suck machine.
Shit. Let's lead on to a fucking great film. And no, we're not going to go with Episode 2. Surprisingly, we're actually going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to kind of slightly randomize our order slightly, and we're going to go for Episode 4, A New Hope. So a good Star Wars movie. Yes. So yeah, I will hand off.
Good start to the series.
Yes, a good start to the series. So I guess we'll go for Human Metal. Why not this time? So Human Metal, why don't you tell us what you think about the original Star Wars film?
Oh, yeah. Love it. I think it's pretty great. The finale feels a bit, I don't know, they're jumping from one point to another. Okay, now let's attack the Death Stars, and that always felt a bit weird to me. And here are all these characters. Luke knows from the Academy, which we haven't even, we haven't seen him being in the Academy and everything. And that always felt a bit weird to me. But other than that, I think pacing is great, the characters are great, and how they're introduced, it all feels perfect and flows nicely. And yeah, it's just like, even the opening is the complete opposite of what happens in episode 1. It's just you're immediately in there. You're like, oh yeah, this shit is real, and this is where this is going, and you know what's happening. You know who the bad guys are. You know who the good guys are. You know.
Of course, you know who the good guys are, because the bad guys look like space Nazis. So it's obvious that they're the bad guys.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's perfect.
It's very
it's simple.
Well, they don't just look like space Nazis. Basically speaking, they are space Nazis.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, pretty much.
They really are. So no talking around it. Yeah, and they're great. And Darth Vader is a cool antagonist and everything. So even though he's not really, he always in these movies he's not the. He feels like he's the main bad guy, but he really isn't. He's always an underling. He's always I don't know.
Well,
has someone who commands him basically. So it's kind of weird.
In Empire, he was the top cheese, just simply because the Emperor was in like one scene. But like, you got Grand Moff Tarkin like lording over him in the first one.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the guy who decides. He's just he got his orders and he does what needs to be done. But that first one, like I said, I think it's perfect. Didn't need to be corrected for the special editions.
How about you, Brack? Going with the original Star Wars film?
It's just a really good movie. Like, there's not that much to say about it, and I think it really holds up compared, especially compared to the prequels. And it's just really a lot of fun, and you get introduced to that world, which at that time when you see it first time, you don't know it's gonna be that iconic yet, but of course it is after a long time. It's just an excellent movie.
I absolutely, obviously, I agree completely. I think there are so many wonderful things about the original Star Wars film. Like, I think for me, no matter how many times I see it, like one of the truly exciting scenes, that kind of makes me shift up in my chair, like when I'm watching it, is when the Millennium Falcon gets trapped in the tractor beam of the Death Star. And gets pulled into the Death Star, and you got that moment where all the music hits in. You see the Millennium Falcon actually going into the Death Star and landing and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just every time I see that, even now I'm an adult, like I get that little like, ooh yeah, it's on, it's going down now. Oh shit.
That's not a moon.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. I love the way that Han Solo has to tell Chewbacca to turn on the auxiliary power twice. Like the first time Chewbacca doesn't do shit.
So, fuck you, Han.
Yeah, no, fuck you. I want to go to certain death. It's an amazing and absolutely amazing movie, and characters like Han Solo, just really, really great, and a really great strong female lead in Princess Leia. Somebody get this walking carpet out of my way. It's and I absolutely love the dynamic between Princess Leia and Han Solo. It's incredible. And it obviously, and that expands to, that's what makes their romance so great in like the sequels as well. Like, it's amazing. The only complaint I would have is like some moments that don't quite hold up to time, like the moment where the Star Destroyer is following the Millennium Falcon, and Han Solo says, "I know a few maneuvers. We'll outmaneuver him," and then just continues to fly in a straight line.
Yes.
Like, okay.
No. He goes slightly to one side of the screen now. Slightly.
And of
brilliant
course,
pilot.
Super barrel.
Yeah,
the special effects weren't there yet.
It's the worst evasive maneuver ever. Anyway, apart from that, also let's face it, the lightsaber fight in Episode 4, the climactic lightsaber fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, is quite poor.
God.
Yeah. It's like, but you can sort of explain that by the fact that they're two old guys, especially Obi-Wan is so old.
One is an old dude, and other one is an old dude that's like lost most of his body parts.
Yeah,
it's like no limbs left.
But I guess Vader has better fights in the subsequent films, but the one in Episode 4 is just awful. But you can kind of excuse it because it's such a great movie anyway, and well, yeah, Obi-Wan is really old. But then, like, when you look back at Episode 1 and you kind of like look at the flash of the Episode 1's fight, and you're like, well, that's nice, that's great, but you kind of like making the newer ones, the older ones, sort of, But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about the special additions. So what do you guys think about the changes that George Lucas made? So quite controversial. How about you, Human Metal?
But some are nice, like putting a bit more X-wings in the in the final run on the Death Star and stuff like that. Just the stuff that's in the background that's not super obvious and doesn't force itself on you. That's good stuff. I'm not particularly fond of the dinosaur in Mos Eisley because just the CG was not there yet, or it just looked weird.
Not only that, but the moment where the speeder actually goes through Mos Eisley you have that thing where it changes, and it's obviously like CG where the speeder goes through, and you got the robots dropping things, and it's just like, what if you're gonna do the CG's so bad?
I mean, the worst thing was that singer in the bar. that weird CG singing tentacle, I don't know, jellyfish thing that started, really going off. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That's in Jedi, isn't it? Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't the first one.
No, it was Return of the Jedi. Trust me, I literally just watched those the other week.
Yeah, okay. And what about one person shooting first all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Where it's like if they make Han Solo sort of like Matrix, give a Matrix move where he dodges a bullet from close range.
No, I mean, does he? Back. But the thing is, he doesn't dodge a bullet. His head literally shifts off his shoulders to the left.
Yeah.
It's like, and nobody next to us like, what the fuck just happened to your face, man?
It's like Han Solo apparently has the amazing Jedi power of actually dislocating his spine and then reattaching it.
I don't know what was so bad about him shooting first. I never got.
What?
I mean, I don't get a lot of the changes, but
no, Human Metal, you're totally. I can't believe you would say that. Like,
no. I mean, I never got what's so bad about Han shooting first. That's what I mean. I never got why George Lucas changed that. It's like what I can get the basic idea. It's like, oh man, he's supposed to be a hero too, and heroes don't shoot first. But no, he's not.
He's not a hero.
Yeah, but
he's a smuggler. He's an outlaw. He's an.
It makes sense. Like, he wants to make more money off kids and stuff. So
he
wants to make it more kid friendly.
Yeah,
so
but still,
making him a straight up hero instead of like anti-hero.
Thing is, I think that is a grievous change to the original format, because that set up that character absolutely perfectly. Yeah, you got the fact that he's a selfish, self-serving dick, Han Solo, and basically which he is, and it's amazing, and it's so fucking cool, like the Old West where he just basically blows that guy away for almost no reason. It's just amazing, and then gets something like.
And to be fair, he could. Greedo would have shot him probably anyway. He knew he was coming to kill him, so why not go first? I mean, it's not like he has to wait for him to shoot him. He's not.
Also,
like, well, I know you're coming to kill me, so I'm gonna wait until you try, and then I'm gonna kill you. Why? What the fuck? I mean, that wouldn't make him an idiot.
Besides, it also doesn't make sense, because you see Han Solo, right? He's talking to Greedo, and he's slowly unholstering his weapon underneath the table, which means Han Solo is going to shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So, it just, I don't know. It's a completely, but it's really annoying change, which actually affects the character quite deeply. Like the fact is that was so fucking badass and quite violent for a kids film. So. I don't know, they fucked that up. And also that weird-ass Jabba that they've got in there, who's like, in episode 1, he's big and fat, right? He's huge. Mm. And then for some reason, he's gotten a fucking treadmill and slimmed right down for episode 4.
Yeah, maybe it worked out, like you said.
Yeah, but then he's really fucking fat again for episode 6, in a short amount of time. So, man, he must have hit the potato chips.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Pizza the Hut and Spaceballs. Anyway, has anybody got anything to add about episode 4?
No. Not really.
No, not really. It's such an iconic, awesome, badass fucking film that nobody's got anything more to say about that, even though it's one of the most iconic and famous and just fucking awesome films ever made. So that leads us on to talking about awesome films and awesome scenes. What is the worst fucking Star Wars scene, or the worst Star Wars thing for you? It doesn't have to be necessarily a scene from the movies or anything, but just the worst fucking rank piece of Star Wars shit that you can think of. So, how about you, Brack?
Ooh. See, I have never seen it. I've seen a couple of scenes of the Star Wars Christmas special, and that's just plain dog shit. Like, if you see that, it's just the worst. It's really so bad. Oh.
Yeah, I've
Like-
seen scenes of it. It's just wow. I mean, it's a product of its time, I guess. Stuff like that happened on TV back then, and maybe still happens now. But woof! I mean, I feel so sorry for the actors. Like that scene at the ending where they're just all singing. You just have to look at fucking Harrison Ford's face and know what's up.
Like, oh, poor you.
Oh my god. I feel so sorry when I see that.
Also, there is when Star Wars came out, George Lucas wasn't sure if it's going to be a big hit, so he was actually making multiple scripts, and one for if Star Wars wasn't a big hit, then he had to go like drop the budget for the second one, and so somebody made a book out of that script, and in that book that came out before the actual movie, the incest was even heightened, like way heightened between like.
Oh god.
Yes. So they had like almost straight up sex scenes in like the Star Wars movie.
It would have been super awkward.
It's straight up like Game of Thrones in the book almost.
Does George Lucas have a sister?
I hope not.
Just wondering.
I hope not for her sake. Yeah.
But yeah, that was before they figured out that like it was they were siblings. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In episode 6, he'd be like, Luke's my brother, and Han would be like, your brother? And he's like, yeah, he's my brother. Oh yeah, by the way, I banged him once.
Shit happens. I didn't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was my brother. He got me pregnant. We had to have a Never mind.
Not going there, please. So I guess.
See, that would make more sense for Darth Vader. Like that's why he's so fucked up, because he's like.
That doesn't make sense though. Why would Darth Vader be fucked up if his kids were fucking around?
No, I mean that he is a product of incest himself. It's like a family thing, no? It's like
it is a family thing.
they're like a
oh yeah, that's what
like
it
one
is.
of those southern families, in like America, like one of those rednecks.
But that would have happened if Star Wars was a Japanese movie.
But then Luke would end up sounding like, they're coming through the door.
Yes.
So anyway,
should include the camera feed from this moment into the episode. I really should. YouTube version.
So
well, I guess it's the worst Star Wars thing. I guess you can't go with anything else but Jar Jar, can you? I mean, isn't he the worst thing that came out of Star Wars? I would say so. I mean, he's fucking atrocious. It's CGI, annoying CGI monster. That's maybe kids like him, but I don't.
Oh.
I didn't even back then when I thought Episode 1 was a good movie, when I watched it in the movie theater, I was like, man, this fucking CGI rabbit is an annoying piece of shit. And he still is. Doesn't change the fact that he becomes a fucking, an ambassador later on? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
And I always remember George Lucas, that scene from the documentary they used in the Red Letter Media reviews, which is incidentally the best thing that came out of the prequels.
Oh, yes. I agree.
Where they showed that scene from the one documentary where George Lucas is like, everything hinges on Jar Jar. If we can make him work, everything falls into place. And I'm like, what? What? Okay. Sure thing, George. What did he smoke? Oh my god. No, yeah, I'm gonna be boring and go with Jar Jar. Yes, he's the worst thing that came out of Star Wars, definitely.
Oh yeah, but at least he has that head giver line. I mean, that's his one saving
yeah, okay.
grace.
One saving grace, sure.
Yeah, I got the worst thing. Well, I tell you what, that I'm gonna cheat here because I didn't prepare previous, and I don't really have a really terrible awful Star Wars moment. I mean, there's certainly. Well, I guess no. I will go for what I think is the worst thing, which is really terrible, and it is just simply Hayden Christensen. Fuck that actor, man. You can say you can make excuses for Hayden Christensen and say, wait, he didn't have much to work with, whatever. George Lucas' script, but the fact is that Ewan McGregor managed to get out relatively unscathed, and Emperor Palpatine it was actually great. His performance was really fun and charismatic, and I think most actors manage to relatively escape with dignity, not including Jar Jar Binks, of course, and whoever voiced him. But for fuck's sake, Hayden Christensen was like a cinder block that spouted robotic lines throughout the whole thing, and he was just like the most awful actor. And the fact is that I have recently watched with my daughter, who doesn't speak English, so we watched in Japanese, and I was reading the subtitles, and it was much more emotionally engaging with subtitles because I just couldn't hear fucking Hayden Christensen speak those awful lines.
It's like the rest of the actors, or at least most of them, are at least good enough actors to make make you forget the horrible script sometimes. But Hayden Christensen is just such a bad actor that he delivers the script as it is, piece of shit. So you can't forget it, and that's why he's the center point of all the horrible things.
And it's not just the script; it's his actual his body acting, and I'll get into that more when we talk about episode 2, because I'm definitely going to rib on him there. But I'll talk about that more. But people used to complain about Luke Skywalker, how Luke Skywalker was quite a bland hero and whatever. He's fucking Marlon Brando compared to Hayden Christensen.
Yes, he is.
Jesus Christ. So there you go. That's my worst thing about Hayden Christensen. I mean, you could have picked anyone. I mean, you could fucking stick Keanu Reeves in Hayden Christensen's place, and it would have been a better film.
Yes, much better.
Free fucking pizza.
Obi-Wan's always getting in my way, man. So
whoa.
All right, so let's move, talking about the shitfest that is episode 2. Let's get on to the shitfest that is episode 2, which I do not agree with you. Human Metal is worse than episode 1, but let's go for it anyway. So, which of you guys would like to rag on episode 2 first?
I'm gonna go quick because we're time and everything. So, I think episode 2 is the worst because it's an in-between movie of the worst kind. It's like, okay, we came from here, we have to go there. Let's put something in between. And there was that one thing someone mentioned in the first 3 movies, which were the Clone Wars. So let's do that. And that's how it feels anyway. And I don't know, the beginning of the city, I don't know, is it Coruscant or where they are, the giant city? Yes, that was pretty cool. Just like in terms of vistas and everything, it looked nice. But immediately the character of Anakin, of a now a bit grown up, at least physically, Anakin Skywalker is thrust upon you, and you realize what a piece of shit he is, and that just immediately ruins the movie. Then this fucking forced romance with Padme, which is kind of weird because how old was he when they first met?
Yeah, she was way older. It's like
it's weird, and she didn't.
It's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy in a way.
It's kind of creepy. Yeah, that too. And then I don't know.
In both ways, it's creepy because she is so much. It's older in the first movie. That relationship, she knew him as a child, so it's creepy. But it's also creepy because Hayden Christensen is just creepy, in general.
He's creepy. Seriously, when he says to her, I haven't stopped thinking about it since the day he met. You just imagine him beating off in his room.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many scenes in there that come across as creepy, and you don't buy anything of the shit he says. It's just it's cheesy. It's horrible.
It's a romantic movie. It's this is worse than Twilight. I think probably. I haven't seen Twilight. What? That's what I'm guessing. Because the way they're talking to each other, it's the most. It's just you don't even believe that these people have ever met before.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in love, extremely in love.
It's insanely bad. The way that she says to him, when he's talking about, I've been dreaming about you, whatever, and she says to him, please don't look at me like that. And he asks her, why not? And she says, because it makes me uncomfortable. And she, which is a natural, at that point, is a natural conclusion to make, including she should have that conclusion throughout the whole fucking movie. But she walks away, and he kind of stares at her like he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It's creepy as shit.
And speaking of serial killer antics, when he is when this weird sand people abduct his mom, and he goes out for revenge, and he comes back and he's like, I kill all of them, even the kids and the women. And Padme's like, oh, you poor little serial killer, you crazy psychopath, come here and let me comfort you. And I was like, what the fuck? Get away from him! He's obviously a fucking psychopath. He is lost to the world. You can't save him. What the fuck?
He's so bad in that movie.
Horrible scene.
But I just want to say his speech, like his sad speech, is like the one thing I remember. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Like, it's like
Even your butt crack.
it's literally a line from the fucking movie. And it's like, this is supposed to be the start of their romance. This is supposed to be when they're like having fun with each other and stuff, and having fun on the fucking planet or whatever the fuck they're doing there. And it's just so bad, so awful.
It
And
just
also, one thing is so bad about this is the CGI backgrounds of this look horrible nowadays.
Yeah.
It looks like those
In hell.
cutscenes from like Command and Conquer. Like, you know, like that's what cutscenes. That's what it looks like.
I totally agree with you. While we're talking about this point, just to save time for later on, so just in case I forget it. But fuck. You look at episode 1, right? The CG is really actually quite good. Like, but it went progressively downhill. There's this scene where just at the beginning of episode 3, they had that big fight and they crash the ship or whatever, and then finally they return and Anakin gets rewarded by the politicians or whatever, and then meets Padme, who tells him she's pregnant. The CG at that point, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's like the CG out of Legacy of Kain on the PS1. It's awful.
And on that planet where the clones are made and the weird long-necked creatures, everything on that planet where Anakin, where Obi-Wan goes is also looks really bad. Like, I don't know. Just
I
Also,
quite like that scene.
what's the one planet like? Coruscant, is that the planet? It's a planet that the entire planet is a city. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
just stupid.
Well, yes,
The entire planet is a city.
the
Oh,
entire planet
God.
was a city, you wouldn't be able to fucking breathe because there'd be no oxygen, you pricks.
they create that. It's the future
Yeah, but
or
still.
something.
It was a long
That's
time
one
ago,
thing
actually,
I
technically.
don't really like about like Star Wars is that like every planet is like a team planet. Like
Yeah.
every planet. Oh, this is the winter planet. This is the sand planet. This is the tree planet. Like every
This is the
planet is like
water
one thing. That's all they have. This is the planet filled with water. It's just the water planet. Like come on.
Also,
Dumb.
Well, I remember, like, talking about really bad CG, just very quickly. The moment where, if you remember in episode 2, where the characters are in the arena fighting the monsters, and then basically Mace Windu arrives and puts the the lightsaber to the Emperor's throat, right? Look at this scene carefully where he basically just concentrates on his footsteps. His like foot coming down on the ground. That's not real ground. That's not real ground. Come on. You can't. I don't understand it. Why don't they just have a real foot coming down on a real piece of ground? Why do they have to change the ground to CG ground? Did someone look at a piece of dirt ground and say, no, that's not convincing enough? Shit, CG up that piece of floor. Fuck's sake.
Also, the new bad guy is not as interesting. Nothing against Christopher Lee; he's a legend. But
No, he's amazing.
it's just the character of Count Dooku is not as interesting or imposing as Darth Maul was, and it just feels, I don't know. That battle against, I know he got skills, but that battle of him against Anakin and Obi-Wan just felt okay. And then Yoda shows up and jumps around like a fucking bungee ball or something, and I guess that was cool. But I don't know, just I didn't like that bad guy.
Well, I thought he was okay. I mean, Christopher Lee's got skills. I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth, at least he sold the character, right? Like, so I think he was okay. I think he was great, but I just think George Lucas did too little with him. And, I think also the way that he got changed.
Totally underdeveloped.
Again, like, George Lucas, when he's fighting against Yoda specifically, or when he has to move with any pace that isn't arthritic, he's obviously CG Christopher Lee. Like, he can look at his face. That's not Christopher Lee. That's CG Christopher Lee. Like, so it's kind of like annoying like that. But I would say that I disagree with you. Episode 2 isn't the worst Star Wars film, and I'll quickly detail a couple of positives about Episode 2. Like, mostly the action sequences are pretty cool. Like the beginning in Coruscant, the night scene where they chase that bounty hunter. Like, I don't think that action scene is particularly good, but the visuals are decent. The way that it's all lit up like
I said, I like that scene too.
I actually quite like the scene on the water planet, and the battle between Obi-Wan and Jango Fett is fun. I think, personally speaking. Also, I think it has one of the best action climaxes of the prequels. So, I'm not talking. There's an awful battle between like Anakin and all those fucking insect things, and they go through that that kind of factory that's basically a video game that you can't play. So that's pretty terrible. But then you've got the Colosseum where they fight against the monsters. You know, they're all chained up and stuff. I thought that scene was really great. And then you've got the Jedi battle versus all the robots. And then you've got the beginning of the Clone Wars, the first battle sequence, which is really cool. Especially when that starship crashes and you got all that dust in the air and like all the laser bolts are making like all these like multicolored flashes and stuff. That's a cool battle scene. And combined with the lightsaber fight at the end, I think it's got one of the more satisfying climaxes. So I think those elements completely save it. However, I totally agree with you. The romance in that is awful and doesn't work, not even in the slightest. And I want to punch Hayden Christensen so hard in the face for just existing.
No.
So, shall we continue on to a better movie? Just for time's sake.
The best movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I got 15 more minutes and then I have to leave.
Yeah, we should hurry up. Yeah, hurry up, motherfucker.
Okay, well, fuck you guys.
Probably not going to get to Jedi myself, so
that's sad.
Let's go.
All right, so episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, well, let's not beat around the bush.
Everybody's favorite baby.
It is the best Star Wars film. So, Akuma Metal, you're in a bit of a rush, so let's see what you think about episode 5.
I get to go first again. Well, I guess that's the perfect example of a good middle movie if you do a trilogy or something. Was that even a thing before Star Wars? Did we have a trilogy before that in movies? I don't know.
Sure, I don't think so.
I don't know, but somebody from our listeners maybe tell us a good trilogy that came before Star Wars if there was any. Anywho, yeah. Great movie, wraps up some stuff from the old movie, sets up huge things for the next movie to come. You got, Darth Vader being Luke's father as the reveal at the end, which was fucking amazing. You got Han Solo.
Oh my god, Human Metal! Spoiler alert!
I'm sorry. The prequels already did that shit for me. Anyway, you got Han Solo getting taken, put into captivity by Boba Fett and the rest of the bounty hunters.
Captivity.
Well,
like a wild beast in a cage. Let me out!
Yeah. Jangling at the fucking bars. Yes, getting a banana here and there. Anyway, frozen into carbonite or what was it? And and a lot of interesting vistas, like Hoth battle was exciting, and you see you meet Yoda for the first time, which was also cool. He's a funny little fucker, and then also Cloud City. Lots of cool stuff to see in that movie, and lots of interesting developments on especially character-wise. So yeah, it's a great sequel to Star Wars and a great continuation and of that series. It was just this is where it gets really interesting and expands the formula a bit and gets dark and everything and more personal. Yeah, and one of the most intense showdowns in movies, in my opinion. So I really, really like it. It's a great movie. Fantastic.
I don't really have that much to add, except that, Lando is a total space pimp. Yeah, that's all I have to add.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, and Cloud City is cool. Like, it's a much better movie, of course, than, like, the first one. It's, like, a huge improvement. And I really liked, like, the fight between Luke and Darth Vader. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yep, that's a really great cinematic fight, and I love it, and I love the point where Darth Vader like completely turns the tables on Luke, because I also love the fact that Darth Vader is far and away a far superior opponent to Luke Skywalker, because Luke Skywalker was doing his training at Darth Vader's like probably trained up, and I love the scene where he's like ripping the stuff off the walls and throwing them at Luke Skywalker. That's just absolutely amazing. Like I'm not gonna play fair, son. Fuck you. it's totally amazing. There is almost literally nothing that negative that I can say about Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, and I'm thinking now about anything I could say negative about it, and I can't think of a single fucking thing. Like, seriously, I literally can't think of anything I don't like about that film. I think when I was a kid, I used to think it was a bit lopsided having the Walker assault first. But then now that's just spectacular. Like, I love the fact that the bad guys win in that film. Basically speaking, it's amazing that everybody's favorite fucking hero gets like frozen in carbonite and carted off to God knows where. Luke gets his hand cut off. It's like it's fucking badass, man. It's totally awesome. Like the only question I have in my mind is when Lando and Chewbacca go off to rescue Han Solo. Why the fuck is Lando wearing Han Solo's clothes? Why the fuck is he wearing his clothes? Did he just steal Han Solo's clothes?
Maybe.
He stole his clothes. And he also wanted to steal his women, but still.
He literally did. Maybe he just stole Han Solo's life. Like, just ease myself into Han Solo's life. Got Han Solo's ship, got Han Solo's best buddy, got his girl. Fuck Han Solo. Like, just... What do you mean Han's missing? I am Han Solo. It's your imagination. I was always black. So we're gonna come on from the worst Star Wars scene, which we already did, or the worst Star Wars moment, to the best Star Wars like scene or moment or thing, the best Star Wars thing, basically speaking. So, Brack, how about you as the junior Star Wars fan among us? What was your favorite Star Wars moment or best Star Wars thing? I suspect everybody's probably got exactly the same answer here, but go ahead.
My favorite Star Wars thing is Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's the game I played the most. That's anything related to Star Wars. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to give some credit to the cartoon, Star Wars Clone Wars. I'm not talking about the CGI cartoon. I'm talking about the Genndy
Tartakovsky, yes.
Cartoon who also made Samurai Jack. And that's actually the best thing that came out of the prequels, in my opinion. Like,
it is. It's really good
thing that came out of the prequels. That actually made like those characters that are so horrible kind of interesting in that one cartoon.
I've not seen that. What is it? What?
It's like a cartoon series with really like 10-minute long episodes or something, like really short, and it's like you can watch all of it in like 2 hours, like a movie. Like it's actually pretty good.
Don't confuse it with the CG series that came later. That people like that too, but that's a different. That ran for 5 seasons or something. Not as good. It's what I heard. But the new one, if we're already at cartoons, Star Wars Rebels is pretty damn awesome. I'm watching that right now, and then if people want more good Star Wars, that's the way to go, because that's set between Episode 3 and 4, and that's really interesting. It's during the time where the Empire is really on the highest, basically on the height of their power, and this is about the small crew of one, remaining Jedi, and he takes on a new apprentice and stuff like that, and he and the crew go around and help the rebels. That's why it's called Star Wars Rebels, and it's a cool little show. I really like it. It's full CG, but it's the CG is good. It runs on a Star Wars budget, so it's well animated, and it's really good. So, but yeah, definitely the first Clone Wars animated series with traditional 2D animation and short format was really good. Really cool battles too. It's like the lightsaber fights in this look really, really awesome. They're really quick and
they're also like
fierce.
He made like the force powers extremely powerful, like way over powerful, which actually looks really amazing. And actually, like I think the games, Force Unleashed, they said that like while making those games, they actually took the way that the Force works from those cartoons to make it super powerful. Like he takes like entire like battleships out of the air with just the Force and like stuff like that, which is really cool.
That's awesome. How about you, Human Metal? What was your favorite moment or Star Wars thing?
Well, I was to bring up Star Wars Rebels, but now I already did, so I don't know. Besides the movies themselves, I liked. Now I don't even remember I liked Rogue Squadron, the first one, when I played that on the N64. I guess that's basically the only other Star Wars thing besides the Clone Wars cartoon and Star Wars Rebels I actually. I actually, enjoyed for a while, or let's experience for a while.
Well,
and
just to recorrect you, Rogue Squadron was actually GameCube, not N64. But
no, GameCube was the third Rogue Squadron part. There were 3 Rogue Squadrons, and the third one was for the GameCube, and the first 2 were for the N64. I'm pretty sure of that, actually.
I think you're wrong about that, but hey, Google it. We'll find out.
Google, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first 2 Rogue Squadrons were for the N64, and the third one was for the GameCube, which was Rogue Leader or something, or Rogue Commander. I don't know. You can look it up, guys. But yeah, the first one I liked, and it was fun. Nice little arena flight action sim in the Star Wars universe. So yeah, that was cool, definitely. I guess I could put that up as my favorite besides the movies, but yeah, well, I got not much else.
I'm going to go for an actual scene from the movies. So my favorite scene, I think, obviously the best Star Wars movie is Episode 5, and I personally think the best scene in that film is the scene where Han Solo actually gets put into carbonite. So that is, of all the Star Wars movies, ever made, that is my favorite scene. So and I think that goes to show you just how much like character moments like really matter. Like, you know, you can have really fucking badass flashy lightsaber fights or whatever, but like ultimately my favorite scene is where, like, you know, Han Solo gets put into carbonite. You know, you got Chewbacca there like going crazy and pushing a few stormtroopers off the platform or whatever, and you got that amazing exchange which was improvised between Han Solo and Princess Leia. I love you. I know. Like, that's totally cool. Like, totally badass. Han Solo was totally right to insist that you know, that's what Han Solo should say rather than I love you too. So, you're just totally badass scene. The music, the direction, the lighting, everything is absolutely perfect. Like, I wouldn't change a single fucking thing about that scene. It's just the perfect moment of Star Wars for me. Just awesome. And, of course, everybody's favorite hero gets frozen as well at the end of it. It's like, no, you fucking don't want to watch this shit anymore. Like, the only good character's been removed.
One of the best cliffhangers in history, in my opinion. Cliffhanger endings.
That is exactly right. Oh, I can tell you. Yeah. Hilariously, I totally forgot to mention it when we were talking about Empire Strikes Back, and I want to mention it now. When I was a kid, like, I grew up, and of course I watched Star Wars, but somehow I completely missed Empire Strikes Back. So I just jumped straight from Star Wars to Return of the Jedi.
Huh.
Like, so. And it was slightly confusing, but I didn't quite get that when I was a kid. And I remember I was sitting there one time with my friend, and we were talking about Star Wars, and I was like, yeah, I love those 2 Star Wars films. They're amazing. And my friend was like, there are 3 of them. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, yeah, there are 3. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. It's like, you're fucking full of shit, mate. Don't even speak to me. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah, I've seen, like, I love it. I got all the toys and everything. And then one Christmas, it was like, that Christmas, it was just like Empire Strikes Back on. It came on TV, and I was just like, what?
Adding more credibility to my Rogue Squadron point.
We'll see. We'll see about that, Human Metal.
We'll see about that.
I seriously think you're wrong about that, but we'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, I lined up for launch day to get the GameCube, and I got Rogue Squadron with my GameCube. But hey, let's move on to the next movie. So we talked about the worst Star Wars stuff. So we're going to talk about Episode 3, the conclusion to the epic trilogy that is the prequels. So, where do you guys want to go first about Episode 3?
Okay, I want to go first. It's probably the best out of the prequels. Still shit though.
Yeah.
Like it. I think it has the best action scenes out of for the prequels, and it's actually the most action-packed out of the prequels. So that's good. It's
final fight is too long.
It's not that. Oh yeah, the final fight.
Way too long.
It's stupid between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and they're just dancing around. It doesn't look like fighting, and they're on lava. Come on, if you're that close to lava, you're already fucking burning. Of course, you can't be that close to lava, right?
They're Jedi. They got anti-burning powers.
You smell what is cooking. Yeah.
On the lava planet. Why would you ever fucking go to a planet that's all lava?
I don't know.
Where would you ever go there?
I think it's kind of neat how they, how they managed to actually wrap up and make everything lead into Episode 4. I didn't expect them to do it that well, which means I didn't expect them to achieve that at all. So, for all intents and purposes, that they actually managed to, give that kind of closing that it needed. That was actually all right. But other than that, I don't know. There were some cool scenes in that movie, but yeah, doesn't save it. Doesn't save the prequels as a whole, not at all. So.
Well, I would. It's.
I kind of like it when I watched it as a kid, when you just cut off Count Dooku's head like straight off, like.
I think that it's a tough one, but I think like I think 1 and 2 are easily down the bottom, but I think Episode 3 just about ranks with Episode 6 in the Star Wars canon. I think. I mean, it's. I don't think it's a. I don't think it is a quite as good as Episode 6, but I don't think it's far off either. Like myself,
Okay.
like I think it's actually a fairly decent film myself. I think it has an excellent first act where basically that first act would be the climax of other films. Like it's so like OTT. You got like a decent styled space battle and Obi-Wan and Anakin, going through their adventure on Count Dooku's ship. Is it Count Dooku's ship or is it fucking Grievous's ship?
Grievous, I think it's Grievous' ship.
Oh yeah. Grievous the robot was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Grievous is pretty cool, and he had a decent fight with Obi-Wan, and there are many decent fights in the film. Like, and you had the whole finally, which was just fun to see, the whole reveal of the Emperor.
Yeah,
like, actually
that was
being the
alright.
bad guy. That was fun. Like the only problem is like I wish he had that Darth Maul thing going on where the Emperor attacked suddenly. Like Mace Windu is supposed to be like the most like combat powerful Jedi, yet somehow fights slower than anyone else on the roster of Jedis. Like poor Samuel L. Jackson just can't move his body fast. You got like but like there are 3 Jedis there, and the Emperor basically kills 2 of them without basically breaking a sweat, and those Jedis do nothing to defend themselves. If they're Jedi, surely like they could do something, goddammit. So little
I
things
guess
like that
they
just
didn't
don't make
expect
sense.
they didn't expect him to be that strong or fast. I don't know, but Darth Maul should have known. Also, I gotta go, guys. So have fun with the rest of Episode 3 and Return of the Jedi, and don't harp on the poor Ewoks too much. At least they're better than Jar Jar, and actually achieved something worthwhile when during the Battle of Endor. So see you guys around.
All right, take it easy, Human Metal. But I have to disappoint you and say that the Ewoks are gonna get some serious shit from yours truly.
Oh boy!
Oh.
Did you know it intentionally? It was originally it was supposed to be a planet full of Wookiees.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I
knew
learned
that.
it last week.
I
But
also
they
know
apparently
that
couldn't
they
get
never
enough big guys.
I also know that they never.
But they could
In the
get
movie,
enough
they're not
small
called
guys.
Ewoks.
What the fuck? Who are those Ewoks? Do they just use fucking children?
But also
How can you
They
not
never
get enough
called
big
Ewoks.
guys, but you can get enough midgets to make a planet
in
full
the
of
movie,
Ewoks?
they never say they're Ewoks as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That is true.
see you
They
guys.
never say that. You don't only know that because of the toys that they're called Ewoks.
Interesting. So, Human Metal is now officially gone out of the podcast. So goodbye, Human Metal. He has to actually attend a book burning. So good luck to him with that. But like, and going back to Episode 3 before we get onto the Ewoks debacle. One of the huge flaws I find, Brack, with Episode 3 is, do you know the end fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi? Like, there's one thing that could have made that fight like way better, and like seriously 100% better than it was, and that's the fact that they both have the same colored lightsaber. Why the fuck? Who made the decision to give them both blue lightsabers? Whoever made that decision, George Lucas, should be fucking strapped to the back of a Chevy and like dragged through the streets of Michigan.
Yeah, but that's because like in the original trilogy, they also like Luke Skywalker lightsaber is blue. Is Obi-Wan's lightsaber blue as well?
Well, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's green. Like I think his original one was blue, but then he makes a green one, doesn't he? So he got a green one. So I think, but Mace Windu has a fucking pink one. I don't know what that says about.
Samuel Jackson wanted to have a fucking pink one. That's what it said.
Yeah, exactly.
It says motherfucker on it, probably.
But seriously, they could improve that fight endlessly if they just have a different color lightsaber. And let's focus on the probably the worst moment from Episode 3 and the worst moment I think from the trilogy in general, which is where Darth Vader is officially made and created like Frankenstein, and then he gets off that fucking table and says, no! Like, why would anybody think that's a good idea? Please, George Lucas, use your retroactive, like, editing powers and just delete that fucking scene, man.
Just voice over it and let him say nothing. He's just like, he just little Mr. Moves without saying, no!
Yeah. Or just have the scene where the helmet's coming over him. Cut. And the next time you see Darth Vader, he's standing on the bridge next to the Emperor. Done. Like, at least 20% a better movie. If you remove that, it is the most retarded, like, disappointing moment, like, for me. It's awful. So, I guess we're all done with episode 3. And just while I remember it, the Emperor chucking those round seats, those things in the political chamber at Yoda. Badass, man. That's a cool scene. But anyway, like episode 6, Brack. So, Return of the Jedi. What was your opinions on that film?
I liked episode 6. Like, it's not that special. It's definitely like a letdown after like episode 5, which was like the best of the series. But it's a good movie. I like the Sarlacc pit. The fight there is amazing, and the Ewoks kind of suck. That they get like that, like Darth. The Emperor just gets like a new like Death Star right out of his ass, like new Death Star. It's kind of stupid.
Although I think that in the Emperor's defense, I think they've been working on it for a long while. I mean, they could have been working on it since the first Star Wars movie. I mean, who knows? They don't have the construction plans. I mean, like mapped out and stuff. So and it's not finished. So
yeah, but it feels kind of ridiculous. Like, yes, second Death Star, yay! It kind of felt stupid, and the final fight between Luke and Darth Vader is pretty cool, even though it actually ends kind of stupid. And not that much to say about Ewoks. Are fucking dumb though. Let's be honest. The Ewoks are kind of like we wanted to sell more toys, so we just made them cuter. Like, made them look like cute little teddy bears, and just
Yep. It's the Ewoks are a terrible, awful thing. Like, seriously, like for me, most of the film is great. Like, I love the opening. I love the Sarlacc pit and the battle that happens there. It's great stuff. I love the speeder bike chase on Endor. It's amazing. Like, they have probably the most, even though like the prequels had lots of CG and stuff, they still have pretty much the best visually stunning space battle in Return of the Jedi. Like, that space battle is just amazing, like around the Death Star and stuff. But it's those fucking Ewoks. The fact is that, hey, a bunch of teddy bears with rocks take on the Emperor's finest men, because he's up there on the Death Star, the Emperor, and he says, "An entire legion of my best men await your friends," or something like that. But he specifically states that those are his best men down on Endor. And yet the Ewoks appear, a bunch of teddy bears appear, and then the stormtroopers just abandon all tactics and strategy and just run off willy-nilly into the bushes.
You know what? White, like fully white armor, is not really good camouflage for like a tree planet. For like
fucking hell. Brack, you're telling me, recently I've been playing Battlefront, and I'm telling you, being on the Imperial side on Endor is not a plus, because the rebels are actually dressed up in green clothes and blend in quite well with the bushes. You stand out like a sore fucking thumb when you're playing as a stormtrooper. It's like, man, you forget all notions of stealth, you're just going for it. But yeah, like I don't know that how an Ewok can kill a stormtrooper with a rock. Who's wearing armor? Like, I'll never know. So it just sucks so bad that the Emperor's finest men. I mean, let's face it, the Emperor and his finest men took down Jedis. In episode 3, you saw them, right? They betrayed the Jedis, they took down loads of them, they had these huge battles, yet his best men get taken down by fucking teddy bears with rocks. What does that say about the Jedi Order? The Emperor's best men get taken down by Ewoks. The Emperor's best men took down the Jedis. You set those fucking teddy bears on the Jedis, no contest. I mean, Obi-Wan is stoned to death, like, within an instant. I think Ewok should be the new galactic power in the universe.
I would like to see that, like just the Ewoks just taking over. You know,
Yeah.
they actually made books about the Ewoks, and in the books, the Ewoks fight like, I don't know, like some evil dark creatures that ride giant spiders. So yeah, they're pretty tough motherfuckers, if that's true.
Exactly that. I mean, you can imagine like the new emperor of the Galactic Empire is a fucking Ewok.
Don't you want to see like a dark Ewok? Like there's a Sith Ewok.
Yeah, I do want to see a Sith Ewok. That'd be amazing. Should resurrect Yoda out of his grave and have them have a scrap and have the Ewok win, cut off Yoda's head. Be amazing. So, anyway, we've basically come to the end of the conversation. I don't think there's much more to say about episode 6. But before we go, we're going to talk about our favorite Star Wars thing, peripheral to the movies. So not a scene from the movies or any of the movies themselves. So or yeah. Basically, what is your favorite peripheral thing? Or probably more specifically, let's face it, what's your favorite Star Wars video game? So how about you, Brack? Where do you lean on that?
So I didn't have any Star Wars toys growing up, but I did play some Star Wars video games, and especially I put many hours in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I played with like lots of friends, and it just like they came over and we played for like 8 hours straight Star Wars Battlefront 2 against bots, and of course we played matches where you could play hero characters only, so you could play everybody was like a Jedi or like Boba Fett or something like that. So yeah, we played a lot of like matches like that, and we just played for so much, and I was such a huge fan of that game. Also, kind of the reason why I'm disappointed in the new Battlefront, because it seems like it took everything that I really liked about Star Wars Battlefront 2 and just took that out and just made it like a boring, normal first-person shooter.
I would totally agree with you. Well, not totally agree with you that the new Battlefield is rubbish, because I'm actually quite enjoying that shit and I'm playing it currently. But the Battlefront 2 was just an absolutely amazing game. Like you, I played it a whole shitload, specifically with my brother. It was just, goddamn, that was a really fun time. And I just I wish that they could recapture that glory, like, again. But with the PS4, like PS2 emulation coming, who's to say that we won't get a chance to play Battlefront 2 again? Not that I'm saying it would hold up these days, but the space battles and stuff where you could go between ships and you could actually fly your ship into the hangar of the enemy ship, and like totally badass, man. It's awesome. Like, why the fuck is that not in the new Battlefront game? That would be amazing. So where it comes to actual Star Wars video games, actually I've disliked quite a lot of the Star Wars video games.
Yeah,
yeah, like I remember the old Famicom and Super Famicom games, like Star Wars and Super Star Wars and Super Empire Strikes Back. Like, many people loved those games. I just never understood why they were popular. Like, I just did not. I never liked those games. But I got to go back to the old. Yeah, this is a shock for you, Brack. The really old systems, like pre-NES systems, like the Commodore 64, or
that's old.
Yeah, the ZX Spectrum, or for me personally, the Amstrad CPC 464, and talk about the old Star Wars arcade game and Empire Strikes Back. It was basically this vector graphics, and you only had a few scenes. The first game had the assault on the Death Star, where you'd basically. It was just a bunch of lines, basically, but you could assault the Death Star and destroy it. And the second Empire Strikes Back had like the asteroid scene and the Walker assault scene. Like, back in the day, those are amazing. And just in case you don't know, Brack, those are actually like cassette-driven consoles. So, like, you'd put the tape into the tape deck, and you'd press play, and you'd have to hit like control and enter and actually type the word run to actually run the game, and then you'd have to go away and make a cup of tea because it would take 30 minutes to load the fucking game. Like, I'm not joking. Like, seriously. And then the thing is, most of those games were shit, so you'd come back 30 minutes later, you play the game for 5 minutes, like, this is bollocks. And then you'd have to load another fucking game. Another 30 minutes gone. So yeah, those were the days. But here I will actually share an anecdote with you. So when I was growing up, I acquired many Star Wars toys. I had like maybe 100 like action figures or something like that. So like, because I was quite big into collecting those toys when I was a kid, because I grew up and I loved the Star Wars films, and I had many ships too. I had like the fucking Millennium Falcon, the X-wing, and Luke's speeder, and I had the AT-ST and the TIE fighter and a speeder bike. I had like many like ships and toys, and like I collected so many toys from the original trilogy, including like rare ones like Boba Fett, and like I had that. And then I moved out of my my mother's house and started my adult life, whatever. Many years went by, and I went back home, and it was like searching in the cupboard, and I was like asking my mother, "Oh, where's all my Star Wars toys? Like where's all my Star Wars collection?" And my mother was like, "Yeah, I threw it out." What? What the fuck? Oh my god, my mother just threw it out in the trash. Didn't even give that shit to charity. Just threw out my fucking Star Wars collection. Just threw it out in the trash. What the?
Probably was worth something as well at that point, right? If it's original toys.
Yeah, it was. I had so many of the original toys, like so many. Like I've been collecting since I was fucking like 5 years old or some shit like that. Like, I mean, sure, Boba Fett's hand was chewed off, but still, like, I had that shit since I was a little boy. Like, come on. Oh my god. And it's really annoying, like doubly annoying now, because my daughter loves Star Wars. Like, she loves it. And like at the moment, she's always begging me to play like the 2-player co-op split screen stuff in Battlefront. Like, I would love to introduce my daughters to those toys and say, "You like Star Wars? Boom, here you go. Here's the fucking Millennium Falcon and Princess Leia and Chewbacca or whatever the fuck." But no, my goddamn mother threw that shit out in the trash. Oh, please. There are starving kids in Africa who would love to pretend that was food and eat it. Like, but my mother just threw it in the trash. Oh, fuck you, mum. Fuck you. Like, hey, but that's our opinion on Star Wars. But what's your opinion, oh valued listener? So feel free to sound off in the comment section like Yoda sounds off his ass on premium weed. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's Visit to the Ocean Floor. Please join us next time you bump into a door and realize it's Hayden Christensen.